What's up, guys? In this one we're going to be putting on coilovers. Test drives on the OEM suspension and see how it differs from the coilovers. This is pre-coilover. I just need to know what's on your mind. Definitely some body roll, front to back, side to side. Using a 13mm, you're going to take off these 3 nuts. You're going to pull the brake line and the wheel speed sensor line out of their metal retainers. Just kind of work it out of there. Next, you're going to remove this bolt and loosen your sway bar end link. For this rear nut, you're going to use an 18mm socket. And I'm going to put it back on there for a second. Alright, for this we're going to use a 16mm socket and a 16mm wrench on this side. Get your wrench up into here. You should be able to find the 2 flat spots. It is kind of challenging though. And you should be able to get that off. Alright, now that we have our sway bar link detached, because it's attached to the strut, we need to be able to pull that out. This just slid down while I was working on it. So now we're ready to take the 3 nuts off the very top and pull this out. Whew. So actually, before you take all the nuts off the top, knock this down off. So this slot right here, that's where your bolt goes through and pinches it to keep it in there. But that slot right there is where that rear piece slides into. So I'm going to put some anti-seize in that, whatever you call that there, so that I prevent issues down the road. Not to mention, this will help your new coilover go in. I learned from the other side that it's definitely beneficial to get the bottom in first. So I used as much of the top room as I could have, but the top's not secured yet. Get the bottom in first and bolt that up. It's muy better. It's definitely more beneficial. I'm going to use the jack to lift this into place, get her bolted in. Now personally, I'm going to use the factory hardware because it has a bit bigger lip on the bottom side, so it'll have more coverage on the top here, but to each their own. Be careful using power tools when tightening. If you're not super familiar and have dexterity in your hand to not over tighten and not snap things like this, I would recommend not using power tools. Alright guys, this is the adjustable sway bar end link that came with my coilover kit. Pretty straightforward. Just going to put it through there on the sway bar, through there on the coilover, and bolt it in. Once you have your sway bar end link in this far, all you got to do is tighten the nuts and you're good to go. Once the sway bar end link is in, this bolt and nut are in and tight. Both your brake line and your wheel speed sensor line are managed. Your preload is set and your height is matching on both sides. Now you're good to start fine-tuning or take it to a shop for an alignment. Alright guys, these Godspeed coilovers have camber plates. I just left mine where they were set from the factory, which is about center. If they need to adjust that when I get an alignment, then I guess they can adjust that. For the front, I'm just starting out all the way soft on the dampening. On the rear, these are 16-point adjustable, and I went all the way soft, and then I went 10 clicks to the right. So the rear is on like number 10 out of 16 for stiffness. And these are all the way soft for now on the front. I adjusted my ride height. I gave myself from the bottom of this locking nut to the top of my cylinder. I went 3 1/4 inches on each side. The way that I had my driver's side sitting before today was too high. It definitely needed to come down a bit. I have my lines back in place. The pinch bolt is tight. Ready to put the wheels back on and drop the front end down. See how the front sits. For the rear, you got to get these 2 wires off of here. Like that. Then you're going to use an 18mm socket on here. Then you just have 2 bolts left, 1 on each side up top. Use a 13mm socket to get these out. I had to give my strut a little smack, but after you have these 2 bolts out from the top, then it should drop down and you should be able to fish it out of here somehow. This is probably gonna record it too. So I already set the other side over there. So I already know that about flush is where I want it. So now I'm just gonna do the exact opposite and install this side. Now these top bolts are all tight. My bottom bolt is back in. And my ride height is the same as the other side. I just need to tighten this collar, move my cable management thing over to the left a little bit, and put the wheel back on. Be good to go. Alright, now that my ride height collar is locked, these are tight. 2 bolts up there are tight. That bolt's tight. The wires are managed on the bracket here. We're good to put the wheel back on. Checks. There it is, guys. It's not too bad for now. Time for a test drive. Alright, let's take them for a maiden voyage here. SS Coilovers. Even if you're super excited, always torque your wheels. I almost forgot. For the Mini Cooper, it's 105 foot-pounds. Here we go, guys. Take her on a maiden voyage. Oh, something's rubbing. Definitely a lot tighter suspension under the speed bump. That's on the softest dampener setting too. So we can go a lot firmer in the front. All that rubbing sound was from my rotor guard on my driver front. I bent that out of the way so it wasn't touching the rotor, and now I'm good to go. So double check your rotor guards. Oh, less body roll, wow. That's with the front and softest. See how it is at freeway speeds. It's definitely putting power down more efficiently. Up as well to 10, just see. Yeah, a lot less body roll to the rear when accelerating. That's pretty awesome. Alright guys, so in case you didn't know, it's pretty common for a car to settle and seat more down. And sometimes that'll affect your ride height that you set quite a bit. So we gotta lift it in the rear, maybe come down in the front a bit. I'm gonna use a measuring tape and just measure the center line up to the bottom of my wheel fender and split the difference between the two. See if I can't land somewhere in the middle. So I haven't adjusted the front at all. I might leave the front alone for now until I get the other setup on the car. But having raised the rear, that is a lot better fitment than we had before. There's a learning curve. Yeah, I'm falling, can you hear me calling?